Hey, Bulls and Bears, I have huge breaking news. A new financial system is being beamed in from another galaxy. And you can see it in this picture right here. And CBS is reporting mysterious radio waves coming from the heart of the Milky Way, and it's baffling astronomers. Is it a new financial system? No, I wish. I just made that up. But it would be nice because what we're seeing now is definitely out in the twilight zone somewhere. Well, let's take a look at some news today because there's a lot of big things happening that we need to keep an eye on. So we can all try to stay ahead of the curve here on this destructive monetary structure that we're living under right now. But you can invest and make money in this, and I'm luckily and happily making some pretty good gains here. I bought the dip on some digital assets, and I'm up pretty good. So maybe I'll stay with the roof over my head here in California for another 6 months. We'll have to see. All right, now first of all, it's Tuesday, October 12th, 2021, Bulls and Bears. Markets in the red today for the most part, most major indexes slightly in the red, nothing major. But the headline is kind of funny. Stocks fall for a third straight session with inflation concerns lingering. Well, inflation concerns have been here for years. Why would the markets just now be pricing that in? That doesn't make any sense, right? So you have to question some of these headlines. I mean, we've been telling you here for years, the bubbles are going to get bigger. Prices are going to continue to rise. The banks are too big to fail, so therefore more money can be thrown at assets and homes, causing prices to rise. Then you saw all the supply chain issues and labor shortage issues come up, causing further disruptions, more supply-demand imbalance, and what? More rising prices. So this is nothing new. This has been going on, and we've been predicting and prices were going to continue to rise, and we're continuing to tell everyone to brace for rising prices. More rising prices ahead. We're going to tell you about what some retailers are doing about that. They're actually looking at chartering their own ships, cargo ships. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, a recent article, this one was reported, this one happens to be CNN that we're looking at. Grocery store shelves are not coming back to normal this year. Now, doesn't that sound familiar with what we were told about inflation? It was supposed to be transitory, right? It was supposed to be temporary increase in rising prices. And now it's not temporary. It's going on a year or two later since they originally said that. We're going into the second year. And prices are still rising. It's not transitory. So no going back to normal. Let's tell you about what some retailers are warning right now. From this article, many of the country's biggest food makers are telling grocers that they have limited quantities of a number of products. All right, and I hope you're sitting down for this. Ben & Jerry's ice cream and Marie Callender's pot pies. I hope you can survive without the pot pies and the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. All right, here's a thought. Here's an idea. Let's stop eating junk food and let's not live to eat. Let's eat to live, right? I'm sure you've heard that one. So with all these rising prices in food, food shortages, limited quantities of food, empty shelves, now's a good time to start eating healthy. And I've struggled with this. I've got a couple extra pounds that I've been having a hard time getting rid of. I've been trying to do some fasting where I only eat once a day. I've been successful for the most part. But then I'll go on a binge where the whole day I'm just eating everything I could see, especially carbs, which is not good. And then I feel guilty. Then I have to do an extra long workout. But I digress. What do you think about this food shortages? And grocery shelves are not going back to normal this year. It's being reported. Stores are out there warning us. So let's continue to prepare. Got a garage full of beans and other canned food that I can go to and maybe ride it out for 6 to 8 months with the number of stuff that I have in storage. But I expect things to continue to get worse. Now, some people are saying that all these cargo ships off of the coast are all of a sudden going to come back online or get into the ports. We're seeing major backups right now at the ports for unloading these cargo ships. Let's take a look at some data on that. Some of the biggest U.S. retailers are going to get their own private cargo ships to sail around port delays. Now let's take a look at an aerial view of all the container ships off the port of Los Angeles and listen to a quick excerpt here. This is out of the Wall Street Journal.
There's basically an armada of container ships anchored off the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. So that means there are tens and thousands of containers loaded with everything from apparel to electronics to industrial machinery and parts, all waiting offshore to get unloaded. And there's tens of thousands more boxes on the docks and in Southern California freight yards.
All right, so as we can see, there's a lot of items, a lot of goods that are waiting to come on shore. So just because there's a shortage now doesn't mean that it's not sitting off the coast somewhere. So all of you that are panicking about the Ben & Jerry's ice cream, well, hopefully they get the refrigerated ships unloaded first. But it's going to be interesting because as Home Depot, Costco, and Walmart, are they going to get their own crew to unload these ships? And if there's delays at the ports, what ports will they be using? Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's pretty interesting. And I hope that these retailers can find people to unload the ships if they have a way to do that, because Americans are quitting their jobs at a record pace. And we know there's a lot of reasons out there behind that. We've talked about them here on this channel. And generally speaking, what's happening is employers are making their workers jump through a whole bunch of hoops. And it's a lot of hoops that some people don't want to jump through. We even see the airlines now, a lot of the pilots, they're having a big shortage. They're canceling flights. But the biggest industries seeing people quit are food and retail industries. And these were from August. Now, with all the later events happening, I'd like to see what September and October are going to bring us. This article just came out today on the 12th, just showing what it is for August. But we'll have to keep an eye on it because something tells me that September and October are going to see a lot more people quitting their jobs. And we did see that in the jobs added number. Not only are people quitting, but also a lot of people are not taking open positions. We still have a lot of open jobs that are going unfilled. And who's getting hurt the most by this? Well, it's small business, right? Bigger businesses, they can afford to pay more, but a lot of times smaller businesses, they have a smaller profit margin. And they don't have hundreds of locations to compensate when things start going sour. An example of this would be Bank of America, right? Huge corporation. Bank of America hikes its minimum wage to $21 an hour. So entry level at Bank of America, you're going to be making $21 an hour. Pretty good for entry level. And they say they plan to hike that to $25 an hour by 2025. So it looks like banking's a pretty good occupation to get into. Too big to fail. Right? You don't have to worry about the bank going under because the printing press behind the scenes is going to continuously guarantee that the bank will never fail. So maybe everyone can just work for the banks. If things implode, maybe the banks will double and triple in size, and so will the debt that people are buried under. Unfortunately, when you get more banks, more lending, you have higher prices, more people having to borrow to compensate for the higher prices. All right, so what do we think about this? Are things not going to go back to normal this year, but 2021 in January, there's going to be an amazing turnaround where everything gets back to normal? Or is it going to be a never-ending sickness, more hoops, more shutdowns, more delays, backups, rising prices, more carnage and chaos? You let me know, but you know what I'm preparing for. All right, everybody, stay well, keep stacking, stay safe. Let me know what you think down in the comments, please. Thanks for being here, everybody. Peace, stay well. Bye.